Hello everybody, welcome to the 4th episode of Beyond the Box. I am your host and artist, intern Rick. Today we've got a very special episode for you. I will be joined by moderator Dirt, and we will be interviewing the one and only Hunter Knight from Hunter Knight Custom Collectibles. So sit right back and enjoy this awesome interview.
I like it much when people call me Hunter because it's not such a common name.
Yeah. Well, and also Hunter's kind of like having your own, code name, like
Brand.
Yeah, like I'm
right.
Dirt, you're Hunter,
Yeah, I like that. I've been a collector of G.I. Joe, since I was a kid, so yeah, I like code names.
Okay. Well, are you all ready to go? Are you comfortable? Are you ready to talk for a while?
Yeah, sure. I have my charger here just in case I run out of battery. So.
Okay. Well, I'll do like a little intro. We'll start recording, and I'll do a little intro, and then we'll just start hitting you with some questions.
Sure.
Okay. Hey guys, Dirt here, and I'm with intern Rick.
What's up, guys?
And for this special edition of the show, we are actually going to do an interview. And right now, on the phone, we have who we're going to call Hunter from Hunter Knight Customs. He's one of the greatest customizers we've ever seen. We love running across his stuff. Killen's bought some stuff from him. We just love his stuff. So we've decided to get him here on the show. We're going to talk to him a little bit about customs, making customs, some of the different, design details and things like that. So, hopefully an entertaining show. And so, Rick, why don't you got a question you want to start out with?
I think I do.
Okay, go ahead.
First off, Hunter, I'd like to tell you it's an awesome, opportunity getting to meet you and talk to you and do this interview with you. Thank you for taking the time to do so.
Same here, bro. Same here. I'm really honored to be on your show. Thank you for the invite.
No problem. I think I'll just kind of jump right in and just start asking some questions, if that's cool.
Sure.
First off, I think a question that I probably come across more often than not is, people ask me how long I've been customizing toys. So I'd like to ask you, how long have you been customizing toys?
Wow, that's how long. I've been young since I was a kid, because my dad, when I was a kid, I was living in Peru, so we didn't have too much toys, and the few ones we had during those times were very expensive, and my dad was kind of cheap, so he bought me only a toy for my birthday and a toy for Christmas,
Okay.
and how can you live like that, So I had to learn how to make my own action figures. I began with cutouts, and then all sorts of stuff. Down there in those days we didn't have too much, too many materials available. But I always kept doing my own stuff. When I was a little older, then I started collecting other lines, like more than G.I. Joe's, I got into the Toy Beast, the X-Men, which were my favorites back in the 90s, and then I started doing my own stuff. Then in the year 2000, I came to the United States, and I didn't know that, ability would be of any use until I, started seeing that it was actually more than a hobby here. And, decided to try, commercially, doing custom thing, when was it, 2006, I believe, when I found out it was actually a useful skill to have. And then after that, the ball rolled out so much that I had to, it came in a good time, because, I was laid out of my job in 2008, and I was like, oh, okay, so what do we do now? And I just, thanks to my family and the support they gave me, I jumped right in, and so far I never, it's the only thing I do for a living.
So this is your job. This is your full-time job, is doing customs.
Correct.
Wow.
That is outstanding.
That is fantastic. All right, I have one question about Peru. When you were in Peru, you said toys were expensive. They were kind of hard to come by. Did you have a lot of bootleg stuff that you were running into there?
Actually, yeah, there was a lot of, imports. We had a very strict government, and we had a lot of things. Imports were forbidden. Any imports were forbidden. So, you have to manufacture, actually, you have to manufacture them in Peru. So we had Barbies made by a company named Basa, which were terrible in quality. Like Transformers made by a national. Those had to be, national companies. They have to be companies from Peru. We had Transformers made by a company named Linsa, and it was just a disgrace. The plastic was horrible. People were smuggling, actually, American toys. You could make a lot of money smuggling toys, but they were expensive as hell. Having an original Transformer and being your most popular guy in the school. I used to have my crappy bootlegs, and my friends would come out, oh, look at that, I have a hound. This is from the United States. It cost my daddy an arm and a leg, but I have this one. Oh, they're going to give me Optimus Prime. I was like, okay, and I have my cheap Optimus Prime 3 inches, so okay. So, F this, I'm going to make my own. I'm going to kick you. There was a lot of bootlegging, but more in the 90s. In the 90s, that bootlegging, imports were off then again in the mid-90s. And, we had more American toys, actual original toys, but bootlegging came with a vengeance. You would find stuff that was, outrageous and cheap, very cheap, like less than $1. I think that right now they still have bootlegs, but they're better now in quality. In my time, it was like, it was horrible. They were, they wouldn't pass the lead test. They were lead toys.
Oh, yeah, dangerous for children.
And people used to buy those for their children. I'm talking about the, late 90s.
Right.
Yeah, they will, I will never buy those, not even for customizing. Even when I used to be very wild with my own toys. The bootlegs, I used to, sometimes burn them with the, with the candles to make, reshape them. When you burn bootleg plastic, it smells different. And it really, imitates your eyes. It makes you cry. It's really, messed up. I just throw them into the garbage.
Definitely toxic plastic.
Yeah, no, they use, what I know now is that they use whatever Reese's plastic they have, and they mix it with whatever Reese's plastic, like let's say Mattel, Hasbro, they commission something, and they have this Reese's material that, they don't use, they just save it, and they mix it, and they make a hell of a mess with the materials, and then they have the, the matrix plastics, the matrix cap, like the metal things, where they count the toys, then they start making the bootleg stuff. Wow. There's no control over that, and they ship it to countries like South America. I know some end up in Africa too, but they're shipping those things, and they're cheap. You can buy a dozen of those for like 65 cents, which is really cheap, really cheap.
So then,
now, I think they're better.
Well, so then nowadays, if you're buying a toy to customize it, do you have to worry about where it's coming from and what materials it's made of because you're going to turn around and sell it? Because once you resell it, are you then responsible for where it comes from?
No, since I make Hunter Knight Customs, all the toys that I use for bases are all American toys. I don't buy anything from them. There's such control in the United States that you cannot possibly bring that crap. I wouldn't even think about using that as a custom. No, it's not good. I wouldn't if I use a base, it's 100% American toy. Well, actually, it's made in China, but it's like, right. I don't use bootlegs at all, and I wouldn't recommend using bootleg toys because you never know. They don't pass the controls that a toy has to go through in the United States. They don't pass lead tests. They don't pass quality, toxicity of the plastic. They don't pass any of that. So I wouldn't even dare thinking about And when I make my own, plastic from, this company, the one that makes Smoothcast 320, which is the same plastic that Four Horsemen use for the prototypes. I was actually Homeboy who told me what kind of plastic should I buy for castings. But no bootlegs. I totally despise bootlegs. I grew up with that.
Well, and I know
bootleg toys on the floor.
Yeah, we've had some conversations on Facebook with some other people because there are a lot of people out there that they feel like the corporations that make toys are too big, and this is your way of sticking it to the man, and buy the bootlegs, so you're not giving your money to the giant corporations.
Okay. You're talking about IKEA, all those.
Let's not name anybody. I don't want to call anybody out necessarily, but there are issues that come up from time to time.
Those companies, I don't know how they operate. I don't know what kinds of plastic they use. I don't know. I've never bought one of them. I haven't even, try to analyze those. I've never bought one of them at all. So I don't know if what I said stands for them, I'm talking about what I saw when I was a kid in Peru.
Right.
If I'm sure they have to use a different plastic because, the bootleg plastic wouldn't stand transformation and all that. I know they have to use a different thing, but I wouldn't think about them, as the quality of what they use, what the materials they use. I've heard they're very good. However, what that's the border, customizers walk in the middle of something,
Right.
Being called bootleggers or artists, You bootleg something when you make 100 copies of,
right.
Something that is not your IP. In this case, they rip off on Transformers, and, they call them, of course, something different, but it's, when I make a figure, I don't make 100 of them. And that's why Mattel, I think, and Hasbro and all, they're cool with us. They call them artists.
Because yours are more like creating an original piece of artwork as opposed to mass producing a toy.
Exactly. If I make 100, I'll be customizing one figure for an entire year.
Right.
It's not possible. It's not possible. And if I mass produce something, if you can call it mass production, will be like 5 or 6 heads.
Right.
That's what I can do, like heads. Making an action figure with 100 of them, that would be something that will, rise an eyebrow or something, which is this companies. And the problem with this is that companies can, get fed up with it and put us all in one bag.
Right. In order to get at the bootleggers, they'd come after someone like you too, just lump you together in the same group. Right.
Just taking down auctions on eBay, taking down, websites and stuff like that. Thank God, Hasbro did a distinction in this year's BotCon. They separated artists from bootleggers, they said, okay, you're a bootlegger, you're selling this stuff, with our art or our IP on it, you're not allowed to show. You guys are artists, you guys are customizers, okay, you're welcome.
Right.
I'm not sure if they allow them to sell their art, I didn't know that. I never read, if they actually allow them to sell their art, but, at least Hasbro made a distinction, between what's a bootleggers and artists. People are entitled to buy whatever they want, As an artist,
Right.
an artist, I see what they do is beautiful. I mean, you see the beauty of, you see those pieces they make, Megatron, Soundwave, it's beautiful. Don't get me wrong, I really actually admire what they do. The problem is that it messes up with what I do, which is a different kind of thing.
Right. Well, let's get back to the customs then. That's enough about bootlegs. That's enough. We'll get back. But how much of what you do is your own inspiration versus someone contacts you, on Facebook or whatever, and asks you to make them a toy? Like, how much is a commission versus something that you set out? You say, I've got to make a particular character.
Oh, you're talking about inspiration, or if I see a design that I like,
Well, yeah, do you tend to do more of people contact you and ask you to make them a particular character, or is it more you want to make a character and then you turn around and try to sell it?
It was a ratio of 70% eBay, 30% commission, but this last year it has been totally opposite. It has been 70% commissions and 30% eBay. That's why I haven't been able to really pour my creativity in what I used to do. I used to come up with crazy stuff, and that crazy stuff takes time to design, to actually see how it works. See, because you want to make an action figure that people can pose or keep on the box. In the case of Masters, when I do Masters of the Universe, I try to put them in the box for the people that like to
display them.
Right. Yeah. Now, do you number your pieces, or are they all one of a kind, individual?
No, I don't number them, but I do keep a database of every single figure that I have done, even if it's a repeated one. So like what I did with for Killen, I made actually two of those green yellow lantern skeletons.
Mm-hmm.
But I keep a database of who was it made for, and which one was it.
Well, so, how many do you think you've done? How many customs do you think you've done? Professionally.
Okay. Since Hunter Knight Custom begun to more than 800, 900.
Wow, 800, 900? That's a lot.
Would you
Yeah,
do you have
the
any?
videos is 600, but the videos don't count. When you make a repeat custom of that one, around that.
Do you find whenever you do a repeat of a character that the next one always turns out better than the previous one?
Yes. It's funny how it works.
It's always like that for me too, bro. Always.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny because you make one and you say this is my best, and then you sell it and somebody commissions another one and then you do it and it's like, wow, this is my best. No, this is, and then somebody else commissions and no, this is much better. And you see the original one, they're like, oh,
right.
something. It's like that's what you can see that on my Seahawk, Master Universe Seahawk. There's like a metamorphosis of how many Seahawks have I done, and then I ended up with the last one that I call Master Craft or something like that. And you see this thing how it progressed. Like wow, this time okay, this is the best. Like, I'm making another one now, and I'm hoping it doesn't it turns out this is what I'm making for me though. I barely have time to make customs for myself anymore. Yeah, but yeah.
Well, it's good to be in demand. I mean, it's good to know that there are people out there who are willing to pay you to do this for them so that you can do it as your job. I mean, that must be a good feeling.
Yeah.
Would you...
It's great to do it. Yeah, it's great to live like that, actually. To be able to make a living out of what you like. I crave action figures when I was a kid because as you know, I didn't have many toys when I was a kid. But, making action figures. And the funny thing is that my father always told me, you're never gonna get anywhere with those toys, with those little things. I mean, you're never gonna get anywhere playing video games or doing stuff like that. And then I told my father, so what now, huh? So what were you thinking?
Would you have any tips as far as any independent customizers out there who aspire to go beyond their own collectible shelves, as far as trying to get their name out there and do this for a living as well?
Yeah, no, I had a lot of people who said that, I inspired something else. I feel really, honored and humbled of hearing that, and I'm always, when I have because I receive a lot of messages every day through my website, Facebook, and all that. When I catch one of those, questions, when they say, what can I use, what can I do, I'm always, willing to give advice or, because a lot of people helped me when I begun. There was great help from other customizers, like, that begun before me, and they were always willing to give me help and recommend me, this and that material, because when you begin at this, you really don't know what to use. You have to do a lot of trial and error, and sometimes that cost will cost you because some materials nowadays are not that cheap as they used to be.
Right. Have you ever made a custom for somebody, and then once you were done with it and shipped it off to them, you decided to make one for yourself?
Yes. Yeah. I was like, let me remember one that I've done for myself. Oh, the Snake Armor He-Man.
Snake Armor He-Man?
I made one, yeah. Yeah, I made that one. I was like, oh, no. This has to be, I have to make one for myself. When I saw what I call the first shot, when the thing is already sculpted with no paint at all, you see the first shot and you're like, oh, this is going to be a great figure. Oh, no, I have to make one for myself, And hopefully, in December is when I have some time, to make stuff for myself, and that's when I made my own Snake Armor He-Man. I made a Sorceress, the 2002 Sorceress. I made that, and I was like so envious of the guy who was gonna, actually have her, and I was like, oh no, I have to make one for myself.
How many figures do you think you have in your house that are your own finished custom ones that you haven't sold, that you just have sitting around your house on display? Very few.
I gotta tell you that. Very few. I might have only like 10 of my own.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think I maybe have 20 of my own.
Really?
So. And 1, 2, 3. I'm looking at them right now. So yeah, Hordak, 2002 Hordak, Sorceress, Snake Armor He-Man. I have a next Ford Wolverine, now it's useless because, they released the official one. And it's beautiful. I mean, that was beautiful.
So,
I have a temple.
wandering through his house right now.
Yeah, no, I barely have like less than that. And I have a magneto that I've been making for 3 years now for me. It's looking at me, it still needs some highlights on the legs and all that. But yeah, those are the only things that I have from myself to end up making. And it doesn't count like when you switch heads or when you put something C or you repaint something like quickly. Like I have some powers that I got of mine, but it's just a head or something very, very quick. I take priority on what I do for others, like my customers. I can tell my customers, I can work on your piece because I'm working on my own.
Right.
They'll be like, yeah, they were like, nah. So yeah, so they take priority. I'm making an Iron Man for myself with light up features. Hopefully I'll finish it in like 5 years, but yeah, 6 inch though. But I hope hopefully I'll finish it someday.
Do you ever do anything else creative? Like, are you ever feel like you need to paint or draw or sculpt something besides toys, or is it pretty much all your creative energy is going straight into toys?
Right now, yes, it's going into toys. But before that, I used to draw. I used to draw comic books for myself, and I used to draw all that. And what other things? Well, sometimes I just go out, clubs and stuff like that, and dance. That's the only thing I do, But before, all my creation right now is going to, action figures. Yeah, I used to go to cars. I used to customize cars.
Oh,
real cars. Yeah.
How many hours would you say in any given week do you put into working on custom action figures?
A lot.
5, 6 hours a week?
We just kind of want to give the audience an idea of exactly what goes, how much time goes into making a custom action figure. That it's not just something that you sit down and work on it for a day and it's done.
It takes about probably takes me 10, 11 hours of a day. Actually, sometimes more because lately I've been really backlogged by commissions. I took more commissions than I could possibly work on, so I had to leave the entire month of July to finish all these commissions because it was just unbelievable, and that has been taking a lot of time. Do like 12, 13 hours a day, and the rest is for sleep, and then wake up and then start doing it again, and then maybe take a break, go to Dunkin' Donuts or watch a movie, and then come back and start sanding. Usually it's supposed to be I when I made it was gonna be just a regular 8-hour thing that I'll do, and then all the rest for to have fun. But it has grown so much that I have to really I have now to really start seeing how I'm gonna finish this because it's with so many commissions it's just sometimes it's too overwhelming. But yeah, I work like 12, sometimes 11 hours a day. Monday to Sunday, because on weekends I do the videos.
Right.
So anything that's ready during the week has to be shot, then it has to be edited, and then all the descriptions and all that made in advance. I'm working like 1 or 2 weeks in advance. Sometimes I have to work the same week, but it's like that. It's crazy.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of work for sure. I'm sure it provides a lot of luxuries in your life that working the typical 9-to-5 stiff job doesn't provide.
All right. Well, I think we're about out of time here for today. But hopefully this is open the eyes of some of the people listening here that customs. It is something that you can do as a full-time job. It takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of dedication, a lot of inspiration and perspiration. But you can do it. Do you want to plug your website real quick or anything? Just let people know how to get a hold of you.
Oh, sure. Hey, you can go to my website, hunternightonline.com. You can see all the, all the work that I've done. Everything is cataloged by video there. So yeah, you can, want to see all my past works and stuff like that, or see if you want to commission one, you can check my website. So yeah, that'll be it.
Awesome.
All right. Well, thanks again for being on the show. And
no, thank you guys. Keep doing what you do.
we'd love to have you maybe back on sometime in the future. We'll talk some more toys with you and some more paint and elbow grease and all that good stuff. And
Sure.
It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Problem.
Ron, thanks a lot, Hunter.
All right, no, thank you guys. Thank you.
There we go. All right, you want to wrap up?
All right. So there was our very first custom toy interview with Hunter Knight from Hunter Knight Customs. Pretty informative, right, guys? All right, that should about wrap it up for this little interview segment. I'm intern Rick. See you next time.
Thank you.